Welcome to Money Chats and Mishaps, a podcast by Fam Brokers hosted by Renae Long, the director and founder of Fam Brokers.
Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you very much.
To Money Chats and Mishaps. So this is a podcast where we just have a chat about things. So it can be anything to do with money, general chat, a mishap, a funny story, that sort of thing. So I'll go over to you and you can explain what you do and how you work. So we're talking today about automations and making businesses and anybody who's self-employed more efficient with what they do. And Jackie's a specialist in the field. I've known her for a little while now, and I think she's pretty good. I'm biased, but that's okay. Over to you, Jackie.
Hi, Renae, and everybody else out there. My name is Jackie Van Baren, and I'm a tech and automation specialist.
Nice.
And I have been self-employed for almost 11 and a half years, at the same time as raising my babies.
Nice.
So I know a thing or two about juggling and organising and getting things up to speed. I love technology. I love and also get a bit overwhelmed, I suppose, because there's just so much available. So I work with businesses to help streamline their processes from when you see somebody on a social media post, for example, and how you want to work with them and whether that journey is actually as smooth and automated as possible.
Yeah.
Because if it's smooth and automated and easy, then it makes you look like a professional.
Yeah.
And so I've been working with so many different kinds of businesses, from online coaches to so many different ones, to financial planners, lots of different people to...
So what are the main things that people come to you? So at what stage would somebody think, okay, I need an automation specialist? Is it when they're overwhelmed with things coming in, or when things are slowing down, or when would they come in to see you?
Interestingly, I had a coach to this week, like a new coach to the country.
Yeah.
He has been he has been employed most of his adult life, so now he's on his own and he doesn't have any systems in place at all.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I started working with him to set some expectations on how somebody actually signs up to work with him and how that what that looks like too, and then also
so it's like a greenfield site.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But then also I started working. I worked with an ex Sky News BBC presenter who's been on the TV for the last 30 years, but now she doesn't want to be doing all those shifts and things like that, and so we're working on creating an online course. Well,
nice.
She's created an online course. We're going through the processes of getting people. She's got a huge following on TikTok.
Wow,
and she contacted me saying, I've got about 1 million views on TikTok, and I've got no processes behind the scenes. So it's funny when people have a big Facebook presence or TikTok presence, but actually they don't monetize the process behind the pretty videos or the dancing or whatever. There needs to be a process behind it, because otherwise you're just standing there for the fun of it, really, for your enjoyment and other people's enjoyment, but actually they're not making money.
When you build a building, you have to have the foundations.
Absolutely.
Then you build the structure, and then you finish it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you build all the inside.
Exactly. So it's also working out what you need, because I think there's systems for the sake of systems too.
Yeah.
And with AI now, some of the systems that we have are going to be redundant. So it's about looking at you from your business. What do you need? What freedom do you want from your business? Do you want to be sending out, Word document emails, Word document invoices, or do you want to have a system that you punch in and, within 2 minutes you can send an invoice out? Or do you want to have a marketing plan, automated marketing plan, or whatever it is? It shouldn't take up lots of time. Gone are the days where work takes time that's actually a bit of a silly comment to say, because actually things do take time, but if you do it right and you set yourself up for with a plan and a structure, it doesn't have to take as long as it does.
streamlining things, I mean, you save time in the long run. But if
Yeah.
you put it up, it creates sustainability, it creates strength in the business,
Absolutely.
confidence.
Yeah.
You don't have to do as much. Spending that little time here makes it so much more beneficial there.
Absolutely, and I see that time and time again.
So, must be very exciting working with an ex-BBC personality.
It is,
and
actually. It's
a
really...
bit chuffed.
It is, and she gave me an amazing testimonial too.
Oh, wow,
She
that's
called me a
fantastic.
magician,
Oh,
which was
nice.
really Yeah, she called me Mrs. Seamless.
Oh, nice. So you've got your little Harry Potter wand and your Hugglepuff or Hogwarts or, Gryffindor hat. I will be so caned by my family if I don't know these names, right? My eldest daughter, mate, we'll get the owl and everything. We'll be Muggles and you're the wizard. So pretty much.
Yeah.
So if a business was thinking of changing a process or putting it online, so why is it different to work with you than it would be to go online and see if an AI could create a training video?
Well, it can. Absolutely can. But my
What's the difference?
Yeah. So my experience of... I've been working with people for 11 years and I have looked at all the different softwares, all the different options. And actually, it's not necessarily just putting on a course for a course's sake. It's actually what's the process behind it. What's the journey that you're going to take your customers on.
The impact, what
the
do you want to be,
impact,
the person.
Absolutely.
But the person side of it you provide. Whereas AI doesn't. AI
totally
doesn't
agree.
necessarily mean it's going to be accurate either.
No.
Because rubbish in,
100%.
rubbish out. I had
100%.
Hank in Alphas send me over something and say, I just put this through ChatGPT. I said, that's incorrect. He said, how do you know? I said, I know industry experience and knowledge and learnings.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then he researched it in a couple of different sites and had a look at some things and went, yeah, you were right. I said, 10% of that was correct, 90% was fiction. If you'd have sent that out, the liability. So having somebody with the eye set on, I mean, AI is frighteningly amazing. And with those robots that spoke together in their own language before they shut them down, frightening.
It is very
I've seen
frightening.
Terminator, all of them. I've seen iRobot. I've seen all of those movies. But
you can't replace a human
you can't
connection.
replace a human connection. And that's why I think it's really important. So your business provides that human connection, that capture,
Yeah.
and what you do. So a lot of my clients are self-employed or have somebody in their family that's self-employed.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it and you can be drowning or you can be at the end of it and you want a streamlined process, you're the girl to go to. A lot of that online and onboarding stuff for
absolutely.
Whether you're a small SME or a medium to large corporate company, having that person in charge of that and providing you with what you need can be vital.
Absolutely.
And your influencers, your bloggers, your TikToks, your everythings. I mean, you can support that. You can assist them with what they need.
Absolutely. It's just it's about knowing what their process, how they want to do business, how they want to service their customers, how they want to celebrate their customers or even acknowledge or thank them for being in their world. From the moment that you start working with them to potentially the moment that you've graduated with them because they've been through your transformation. It doesn't matter if it's coaching or law or whatever. You have to have a good process.
Yeah.
Whether it's that customer journey or whether it's before they even get to you.
So can you give us an example of something that's worked really well for a client that you've helped them with?
I will try and nail down one. I think when somebody has pivoted in their business, their processes are all over the place.
Yeah.
I've helped them to take out all the rubbish bits and actually redefine what it is how they want to do business again. That BBC presenter was such she was such an interesting person to work for, because she's very tech savvy as well, and she knows what she wants. So, but she just also, she knows what she wants, and she could probably work it out, but also she didn't want to. So, so we sat down and we worked it all out, and we do use a specialist type of technology that I love to use, Kajabi. It does make it very easy, but there's tiny little things in the background that some people just don't know. If you don't tick this box, or if you don't connect this, or if you don't put a tag here,
so
that
you don't
automation doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
And so, and that's where I've, been able to sort stuff out for people, where they've done most of it, but the automation's not firing.
Yeah.
Why is that? And so I've gone in and had a look, and like a little spider, really just checking, is this connecting to this, and it, in the end they have a seamless automation behind where somebody can pay them, $1,000, and it will go straight into their banks 3 days later, and the customer will get exactly what they've been promised.
Yeah.
And that's just gold. And when you set up the process once and you repeat it, it's just life changing.
Mm-hmm. It's good to get an outcome and sort something out, because it's a relief for the client and yourself. I know, working with a lot of businesses, I've worked with all sorts of everything from allied health professionals and solicitors and mining companies and engineering companies, all different types. But when you go down to it, sometimes their pain points are their processes. And you don't know what you don't know until you find out.
Yeah.
I've had clients where I had one client once, he had 3 jobs within 3 months. And I said to him, look, you're going for a loan, can you flesh this out for me a bit? And he said, well, the first job lasted a day. I said, why did it last a day? He said, they put me in the kitchen, gave me a cup of coffee, and they got busy, so they never came back to me.
What?
He went looking for them 3 times, and everybody said, oh, they'll come back to you, they'll come back to you. He said nobody came back. So clearly their systems fell down.
Yeah.
So he said, I didn't go back the next day. He said, I sent an email to say I was put in the kitchen. Nobody remembered me. I went looking, I think he's looked 2 or 3 times. I went looking, multiple times or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. I resign. You can pay me for the day, thank you.
Wow.
Pretty much. See you later. He said, I'd been offered another job, so I phoned them up. They said, yep, start. He said, I started that one and it was great for a week. I said, okay, what happened after a week? He said they had absolutely no systems and processes. They'd hired 12 staff because they had this new contract coming in and nobody knew what to do. He said, and we all ran around and said, you need to get somebody to come in. He said, I don't have the money now. I've hired all the staff. So he'd robbed Peter to pay Paul, and then he said, and I thought, this is going to end tragically. And he was one that always said his reputation. So reputation to me is everything. It should be to everyone, right?
So, yeah.
And then the next one, he said, this one's a stayer. I said, why? He said, I didn't get locked in a room. They have processes. He said, and the onboarding was actually a full week of training and going through things. And then he said the second week, he said, I got touch points Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. People came to me and said, okay, how are they going? How'd you go with this system? Oh, okay, that's great. So do you know how to do this? No or yes? No.
Wow.
Or yes, I do. Okay, can you just run that through? Because we have had some changes, making sure that each step. He said, I don't mind being told what to do if they want me to show them. So it was that communication piece as well. So bringing that on board. Yep, I knew how to do this, but then they said, okay, did you know? Do you want to take note of that? This, if you do Control F something, then that's going to come up with this, and then you can put this in there, and it's done at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and what I liked about that example is also they were checking, and there had been changes made, and would you mind checking and evolving the process, because there's times where people have put processes in, got a process. It's not fit for purpose.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and also it might have been working for a certain amount of time.
But it doesn't mean it's working again.
Yeah, absolutely. And so reviewing those processes all the time.
Oh, it's crazy.
Is so important.
Because you've got thousands of staff, or 10 staff, or one staff member.
Yeah.
But if that one staff member doesn't know what to do, it impacts the business significantly.
Absolutely. I have set up processes in the past where I've been asked to set up a process and it's been set up but hasn't been followed through. And that just makes me frustrated. It just feels like it's a waste of time. And I check whether it's been understood, it was the right process, is this what you're expecting? But sometimes people create processes for process sake. And that's a danger too.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't overdo it, shouldn't undercook it, shouldn't overcook it. It's like my dad at a barbecue. Oh, love my dad. He's my only living parent. So my mum passed away a few years ago. But he only has one cooking skill in barbecuing. It's either dead, really, really dead, like charcoal dead, or on the border of cremation. Okay? There is never, on my father's barbecue, there will never be
medium rare.
There will never be medium, and there will sure as heck never be rare. Because he puts it on and then wanders around, and then you're like, Dad, it's burning. It's not burning, it's the way I like it. And he pulls out this, the sausages never bend, okay? They're like that. So you know how you normally, there's a bit of wiggle?
A little bit of wiggle.
Never. There is no wiggle. This is a stick ready to fall apart, and then he pops it on, he gives it to the grandkids, and the grandkids are like, and if they hand it back, he gets so offended.
I'm sure.
It's like, Dad, so we only let him do 6. But if it's his place and he's doing the barbecue, he's in control. Nobody gets... So you bring over nice meat, or they'll have everything on. But even if we've done like chili prawns on skewers or anything, that microphone in a prawn shape. Yeah. So we could never have the wooden skewers. But it would just disintegrate, fall down the bottom. How do you think it was coal? But yeah,
no.
So in a barbecue process for Dad, like Dad's very structured in how he does the process. It's just the cooking that sucks.
I would be like, can I help you, sir?
Well, we'll often bring over chicken and we'll cut it up and salads and everything. So all the kids run over to that.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah,
we bought Dad an air fryer.
Wow.
And he goes, this is great. And unfortunately, you can overcook on an air fryer too.
No way.
I know, right? Surprised me as well. So we do a giveaway in the business at Fan Brokers, and so people that refer go into a giveaway for a travel voucher. $200, $500 travel voucher, so once a quarter.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, at least you can have a weekend somewhere, at least overnight somewhere in a brickie and that sort of thing.
That's great.
So, we're doing some conferences, and if you do a conference or an event and you've got a stand, you do a good giveaway. So, I would give away, like, a very good barbecue. But I got feedback, like a $2,000 barbecue.
Wow.
But I got feedback. People, so I sent out to people, and these are random people that I'm like, do you like that? No, probably don't. We live in an apartment or something. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not catering to your needs. We're still buying properties and that sort of thing. Yeah. So I'm like, what would you have? And I sent out emails to people. I spoke to people. We phoned up people and did our own little surveys. And my daughter says to me, Mum, you're going to this conference, give away a ninja slushie. Or a ninja creamy. That's it, a ninja creamy. And I'm like, what is ninja creamy you speak of, right? So I Googled it. Yeah, it's the ice cream thing. So you get the creamy, or you can get the extra bolt-on where you get the soft serve cone. Oh my gosh, I had 10,000 people, well, not quite 10,000, several thousand people go in for that for just to enter that bad boy.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm getting rid of that. So for $700 and something, you buy the Ninja Creamy with the extra bits.
Wow.
But I'm going to a conference next year. I'm going to ask her what she wants because I had a look on the Ninja site. And I thought, the double barrel, do the whole kitchen set because it would be, I can spend $1,500 or whatever, get this amazing kitchen set. People can take it home in boxes that'll fit in the car, right, and anybody. And I'm like, I so want to buy them myself. So this weekend I'm actually going out to buy myself a creamy and a blender because I need a new blender for some reason. But, and that goes back to, and that goes back to process. So in my work, I have to have a process put in place. Yeah. But that sort of changed the process on how I judge on the give backs are.
I like how you do lots of market research and find out what people want from a price point of view. But I wanted to ask you about how you collect all that data and what you do with all that data, because that's part of the process that I help with my clients too. So it's so great that you're giving these things away. That's money, and you obviously see the value in it. But doing nothing with those.
Oh no, that
details.
goes into. So I have a whole nurturing workflow process.
That's amazing.
I have two CRM systems. We're redoing the new CRM system with some AI points where that can just do the instant automation, so I'm not losing people. That's because sometimes, so one of the things that I identified 12 months ago is I get too busy with what I'm doing, and I suck at the paperwork stuff, right? But I'm great at, I know the numbers, I know the paperwork is the last thing I will do. I think for me, the relationship is the most important, getting to make sure that the client is getting exactly what they want and nurturing them to that point where they're very comfortable with that. So I have one of the highest retention rates in broking because I'm a one-on-one. I will physically meet you. Yeah. I have clients all over Australia. I fly down to Victoria. I fly down to New South Wales, to Newcastle, drive out to Dubbo and Broken Hill and go the back way and that sort of thing to meet a couple of clients. And there's only a couple of clients that you meet, but you'll meet other people along the way as well. Yeah. But that social interaction, being human, I call it, that being human is really important. AI is taking away a lot. But I think, if you tell me that you've got 3 kids and Sally Ann is going for the soccer trials, I try and note that down so I remember.
Yeah, and that's what makes you different, and that's what.
But that's part of our process. Asking 1 to 3 personal questions so that you can follow up on that person, or their likes or dislikes, and that's in part of the process. So we've just done a restructure with a couple of things, and I think I have a flow chart for everything and a nurturing strategy.
No, you are ahead of the curve in a lot of people and that's what I work with people on, are those nurture sequences.
Because it takes so much. Most people follow up 1 to 3 times, on average probably twice, and then they don't follow up their clients again. Yeah. It takes 6 to 8 times to contact a client and talk to them. By that stage, I know where your mother is and where everything else is. That's fine. I'm not going to tell anybody else your personal details. As a financial broker, you get to see people in financially naked, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know if somebody has a second wife. I know if somebody has a gambling addiction. I know if they go to the pub too much, right? So you're giving me this information. It's a really trusted position.
It is so
and
trusted.
I need to know that you're okay with that and we're on the right process.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you the wrong thing because reputation to me is everything. If I do something wrong, if I make a mistake, we all make a mistake, I am gutted. Really, really gutted, and I need to work on that. But I generally don't.
Yeah.
I know my stuff. I know the product. I know what's going to work for the client. back in the day, you used to walk into one bank and they give you one product and that was it. Mortgage brokers, we've got hundreds. So most mortgage brokers have 35 to 60 lenders to go to.
Yeah.
There's over 300 private lenders. You've got second tier lenders, primary lenders. They don't call them second tiers anymore, but they sort of are. But that can be your Suncorps and your Bank Queenslands and that sort of thing as well. Westpac owns so many. Commonwealth owns so many. ANZ owns so many. NAB owns so many. So if you went to Bank, it's owned by NAB. If you went to Bank of Melbourne, it's St George, it's Westpac. If you went to Bankwest, it's Commonwealth Bank, like just to name a few.
Yeah.
Right? So Suncorp's now owned by ANZ. So, you know, it's a very incestuous banking.
Absolutely.
But it's all about the process and
Yes.
the process of how we learn as well.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me is I'm a control freak. And for all those people out there that are like me and a control freak, and I'll admit it, it takes me so much to go to that line that I know I need, but I'm scared that somebody won't provide the same level of service or know what I know at the time. But that's when you get people like Jackie on board. Jackie comes in and says, okay, this is what we've got. This is what we can do. Boom, happy days.
And it frees you up so that you can have those conversations with you, so that you can remember about Sally Ann having a sports
and going out to see them.
You can.
I need that stuff done, and that's why it's
absolutely.
done, so I can get out there more to
technology
clients.
is so important in certain aspects of your business, and yes, AI will never replace the human interaction. And well, let's just say it's never going to interact.
Unless that movie, remember the movie AI, where Jude Law was the oh no, that was he was an artificial person, wasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember the movie too much.
Well, let's just reframe the thing. I think human connection is here to stay, and it's really important, and it makes us who we are. So we use the technology and the AI and all the systems so that you have the time to do what you love. You have the freedom to spend time with your family. That's what's important to you. You have freedom to grow your business, because within an organization, the business development and the marketing side is actually often the most important bit than the actual providing service.
We all know how to market now. It's just a thing.
So much more than ever before.
But doing it effectively and ongoing and not stop, start, or just stop.
Yeah.
If you are feeling overwhelmed, or if you're feeling you're drowning for things, and if you want to have a chat, I'm sure Jackie would be happy for you to help out chat.
Absolutely.
So how would somebody contact you?
Well, they can go on my website, www.jvbconnect.com, or on LinkedIn, Jackie Van Baren.
So how do you spell Van Baren?
So it's BAN space BAREN.
Okay, so
It's
not
Dutch.
like the Red Baron, Baren with an E.
With an E, yes. It's Dutch. It's a very complicated family tree.
Oh no, Hank's Dutch.
Oh yes.
And he speaks 4 languages.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, you speak how many languages? Because we went out to a client and they were speaking another language, and I'm like, oh, what are you speaking? He said, oh, such and such. They said, how do you know? And he said, oh, I speak that. I haven't spoken it for a while. And then they're getting into all these conversations, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll just sit here. And you just...
Yeah, and I felt uncomfortable, and I thought, oh, do I need Google Translate?
So they were talking in a different language, and you're that.
So it was like, oh, but it was like they were having a bit of a, and I thought, oh, okay. And then I'm trying to get back on track, which we did. But it was like, wow, yeah. But it's really impactful when people do speak another language, or they're from a certain country and that sort of thing. And heritage and culture plays into that as well.
So much
And
so.
it does with what you do as well. So.
Absolutely. I think having, it's interesting. I've just been on an online summit this
Yep.
this week, because I also find it very important to upskill and just make sure that I'm on top of it. And this lady was in the UK, and when you go on Facebook and hear what other people are doing, so a virtual summit is where you basically have lots of different people who submit a video to teach, and then you can connect with them outside of the summit. So it's like a 3-day summit. And in the Facebook group, there were so many comments, and there was people from, India, America, South Africa, all over, all learning from this one online summit. And so what I was listening to some of the presentations is, it doesn't actually matter where you are in the world. Your processes and what you do and how you service your customers is unique to you, but also, it's very common. And so that's one of the reasons why I love, we've moved over from the UK, and it doesn't matter. I still work with people in the UK, I still work with people here in Australia.
Well, I've got expats in Singapore, in America,
Amazing.
Venezuela, France,
at
England.
the end of the day, the process all remains the same.
It does. It does. The process remains the same.
Yeah, and it's just...
One added bit with an expat, but that's it.
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, you change the currency or whatever it is, but ultimately they all have customers, they all want to provide a service, and they all want to do it as easily and as efficiently as possible so that they can
So
have
what
a
would
better
be
life.
your gold nugget before we wrap up?
My gold nugget would be, if you don't know how to do it yourself, then ask, because I think you could get stuck in your ways. I think most of my clients have an element of control freakishness about them.
Yeah.
And letting go and asking is
Not many
actually...
people ask for help or
No.
how do I do this or how do I do that?
Yeah, and they do, you do Google and things like that, but you might be Googling the wrong thing. And also, if you do Google, are you following the instructions 100%?
Yeah.
Or you're just glancing at...
And what version is it that you're following the instructions for? So if it's IT related.
Exactly. And if you don't know, ask somebody, and ask somebody in the know. Don't just ask the right person too, I would say.
That's true. Thank you so much for coming onto my podcast. And if anybody wants to chat to Jackie, remember LinkedIn, message her. Do you have a Facebook account?
Yes.
Or Instagram?
Jackie Van Baren. Jackie Van Baren and JBB Connect.
JBB Connect. Give them a call and let them help you with your business. Thank you so much.